So we're doing quite well now. We've got the chassis back and we're starting to put it back together. It came back from the last video you see, it was galvanised. So when it came back we had to use this mordant, which is a T-wash, and you put this on the galvanising and then that takes the surface off so that it can accept the paint. We did that and then steam cleaned it back off, and you can see quite a lot comes off, but then it's still really black and horrible. It doesn't look very nice at all, but that is what it's supposed to look like apparently. We then coated it with this grey primer, and then we did 2 or 3 coats like that, and then finally we used the black that you can see here, which is a matte black. That's just our choice, and this is the result which we're really pleased with. Nice to be putting it back together again now. But before we could put it back together, we had to do a lot of these little bushes that came with it. Well, there's loads of them on here. Every joint between the suspension and the chassis had these rubber bushes in it, and they're really difficult to get out. I've got one here somewhere. So this was in one of them. You can see the effort to get that out and the new ones back in. Well, if you only had one to do, it would probably take you all day. We had loads and loads to do on there. So when you do that, you need one of these. If you try to do this job and you haven't got one of these, I should wait until you have, because it's almost impossible. I guess people can do it, but not on this scale. So we just put them under here, we pushed them out with the right size socket for whatever you were doing, and also to push the new one back in because the new one didn't want to go in either. So it's a really huge task. So this is essential for this job. I've done them before with jacks and things underneath lorries. Like I say, if you're just doing one, fair enough. But if you're going to do as many as we've done on here, then you really got your work cut out. So we put the back axle on yesterday. That all went together really well with the new springs, new bushes, everything's on there ready to go. We're putting the front one on today. We're really pleased. That's just gone on now. We're just doing up the bolts as we speak. Got a few more bits and bobs to put together, and then the chassis effectively as a rolling chassis will be done. We've got the gearbox over there ready to go on. The engine hasn't come back yet, but we're expecting that back in the next week or so. And then we'll be really working on the body then, which has got quite a lot of work to do. It's really nice to be seeing it go back together. I think it gives you a real good shot in the arm, especially during lockdown, to have been able to work on a project that's quite rewarding. You're going to take on a project like this, you're really going to need, you know, when we took this on, we weren't really aware of how much work was involved, but it was a horrendous amount of work. You've got to know somebody who can weld, if you can't weld yourself, somebody with some mechanical know-how. If you don't have that yourself, you're going to need a really nice big shed. You're going to need all the tools, which are quite expensive as well. And so you're going to need a big box full of money you don't need, because this thing just swallows it like you wouldn't believe. But it's really good fun and it's really rewarding, and when we finish, it'll be well worth all the investment anyway. So we're really happy with the progress so far. We'll finish this today, and then we'll go and start working on the body, and we'll get that back here and start welding that back together. At the moment, we're going to just finish sandblasting all of the rust and the paint off of it, so we can really make sure that we're welding the new metal onto really strong original metal. We don't want to be welding onto rust, so it's a problem for the future. When we've done it, we want it to be better than new, like this has been. So report as soon as we've done that.